ChatGPT is going to take our jobs. Maybe even my job, and maybe all the jobs in the offshore industry. At least probably the job of the weatherman. Or am I too optimistic or too negative? We're going to talk with Remco Verzelberg. Hi. Remco, you are the co-founder and CTO of Whiffle. What is Whiffle?
Whiffle is a company specialized in weather forecasting. We're a TU Delft spin-off. So about 8 years ago we started. We took a great technological breakthrough that was realized at Delft University, and the breakthrough is about simulating and forecasting weather. And we realized it had a big value for the renewable energy industry. So we founded a company, and that was 8 years ago. By now we grew a bit. We're roughly 40 people, and still working a lot on wind energy, also solar energy. So yeah, that's Whiffle.
If I can imagine one job AI can do at least as good as human, it's AI, because you look at the weather of today and yesterday, and then you think, probably it's going to be that tomorrow.
Yeah, that is indeed an appealing thought. And if you would ask me this question a few years ago, I would have said, you're crazy. No way AI is going to do that, because we know the laws of physics. We can program them on a computer. We can let the computer do, basically, to simulate the weather. So the best thing AI could do is to learn the laws of physics that we already know. So we always have a head start. Yeah. That's what I thought 3 years ago. And at the time, it was really true that AI was nowhere close to the best weather models that were there. But things have changed, and this year there were some quite spectacular advances in AI. So right now it seems that AI can actually beat the best weather models in the world.
How is that possible? Because AI is able to be the best chess players, mahjong players for ages. Predicting the weather doesn't sound like such a human job.
Yeah, it is. I can understand that you say that, but it is really, really difficult to predict the weather. It's a chaotic system. So let's say the weather today is just a very bad predictor for the weather tomorrow, right? We know in the Netherlands how volatile it can be. So a simple rule-based prediction or just looking at the past is not going to do it. So I think what did the trick in the end is, well, a few things. Obviously, computers got bigger and bigger. That's also what ChatGPT uses. But they did something very smart. They inserted a little bit of physics in those AI models. So these laws of physics that we know, they basically told the AI models, okay, these are the laws of physics. You need to respect them in your intelligence. And then they trained the models based on enormous data sets of the past weather. And that proved to be really, really strong combination. So yeah, right now it's, let's say, game on between the physics-based weather models and AI-based weather models. Yeah, we have to see who the winner is. Yeah.
You brought a video where we can see the two models side by side. If we can get the first video on screen, then you can talk us through it. Here we see the first one.
Yeah,
what
indeed.
do we see?
So this is actually, it's just physics-based weather prediction. So this is nothing AI. So here on the left we have a prediction of the clouds. So white is water and purple is ice clouds. And here we see the wind at 100-meter height. And this is actually the weather in the year 2050. So when there are lots of wind farms on the North Sea, you can actually see them. So when there's 100 gigawatts on the North Sea, you can see that these wind farms, they will start changing the weather. You can see these shades, basically the wake effects of the wind farms. So this is what we can do nowadays with the biggest computers out there. We can make predictions of tomorrow or of the year 2050 based on the laws of physics. So the question is, can AI also do this?
Yes. And what is the answer?
I don't know.
But really, AI is capable of telling answers to things we didn't know, take over the world, etc., not predicting the weather.
Well, maybe it is capable, but then we have to feed it with some training data. So, for example, the results of a simulation like this which is based on physics. Then you give that to AI and then have them learn basically the patterns that we're now seeing. And then it could be possible.
And the latest AI, you don't even have to teach them anything or give them any data. You just say, learn to predict the weather, find a way, go do it. How would that work?
Yeah, that's intriguing. I don't know if it will work like that. That's not what we're seeing right now. So right now you're really giving them lots of data and tell them to learn from this data how to predict the weather. But just like you sort it out, here's some measurements, or you shoot some satellites into orbit and use that for weather prediction. Yeah, it sounds very futuristic. But I think that's an intriguing thing. Nobody really knows where this is going, right? Even Sam Altman from OpenAI, he doesn't know what his next generation large language model will be able to do. It's a bit, yeah, we're being surprised all the time.
I want to know more about the AI first. How insufficient is current weather forecasting for wind farms? If you know a few hours in advance if it's going to be a lot of wind, that should be enough?
Well, we have something which is called the day-ahead market, and that's not for nothing, because basically tomorrow's electricity is traded today. And that's because TenneT needs some, let's say, some safety checks, so it needs to see if all the trades actually make sense physically. So you need to be able to forecast for tomorrow. And we're pretty good at it, but small deviations in wind speed forecasts can lead to very large deviations in your power output. So imagine you have an oil well on the North Sea, oil platform, and you never know exactly how much barrels of oil tomorrow are going to come out of it. But you have to sell these barrels of oil on the market. And if you're short, they're saying, hey, where are my barrels of oil, my barrels of electricity? And you need to pay extra for that. So yeah, forecast errors, one way or another, they cost you dearly.
As money.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing you're saying is wind farms are not only depending on the weather, they're influencing the weather. If we go to your next video, we zoom in.
Yeah.
Show how does it work?
Okay, so let me explain what we're seeing. This is kind of a zoom of an offshore wind farm on the North Sea, so roughly 30 by 30 kilometers. And here we start, when the clouds are disappearing a bit, we start seeing these green streaks. That's the wake effects of individual turbines in a wind farm. So the colors denote the wind speed. So what you see happening is basically a wind turbine takes literally wind out of the atmosphere. So behind the wind turbine, there's much lower wind. And yeah, it's actually amazing if you see these very thin blades, then realizing how efficiently it's taking wind out of the
We can
air.
zoom in even more, and we can zoom into one blade. So can we see the next video where we really see how this works?
Yeah. Okay, so here, this is indeed, it's all the same model, by the way. So this is so-called large eddy simulation model, and you can run it on different scale levels. So this is very detailed simulation where we see this wind turbine spinning, and you can see how it creates, let's say, zones of lower wind energy. But actually what happens here in this model, that even the bending of the blades is calculated. So if you're designing a turbine, for example, you want to know what the forces are on the blades. So you can all calculate that with the model. In this case, even the tower leaves kind of a wind shadow behind. Yeah, and this is the type of stuff that General Electric, for example, is interested in. Yeah.
And this is really relevant if I'm designing blades or if I'm a bird and I'm flying behind it. But on a global scale, are wind farms going to influence the weather?
Sorry, what's the question?
So, on a small scale, I see the influence. They take the wind out of the sky. If we have big farms, are we going to see the effects into our weather?
Well, I mean, many small effects added together can be a big effect. And that, I think we already saw that in, I think it was 2017 or 2018, when Ørsted had a press release where they basically had to write off a part of their asset values because these wind farms were producing less energy than expected. And why was that? Because they did not account for the effect that all these many small turbines together, they actually change the atmospheric flow. So the wind it comes, it sees the wind farm as if, and it wants to go over it. It doesn't want to hit these blades. We call this the global blockage effect. That day, the shares of Ørsted, I think, dropped by 40% because they missed this very subtle effect. And there you see how small wind turbines and small blades actually can alter the weather. And then later on, even on a larger scale, so we don't really know, will we have maybe different rain patterns or different cloud patterns?
There's something wrong with your microphone. There are some explosions in the microphone, so we're going to give you a hand mic. Yeah.
All right. Yeah? Does it work?
Yeah, it's supposed to get working. Yeah, can you continue talking?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, keep it close like a rapper.
All right, yeah. Let's do it like that.
Okay, so you were saying?
So indeed, wind farms, even small turbines, all together, they can alter the weather. And
Is this good news for the climate or bad news?
That's a good one. I don't know. That's the honest answer. I think it's not necessarily either good or bad, because basically what they're doing is they're redistributing energy. It's not that they are enhancing climate change or so. So maybe you have local effects. It could be that wind farms are preventing frost. That could be.
So they're minor influences, not big climate change.
Yes.
AI and the offshore sector. We already saw this morning a crane manufacturer that has basically cranes you can steer from the shore. How long before AI steers the cranes and maybe even build our wind farms?
Yeah, that's a great one. Well, I think I've heard somebody from General Electric say that they hope to build offshore wind farms that are never visited by a human. So then everything is done by robots, and of course robots, they move through AI. So I think that makes a lot of sense. AI can really do a good job when there's what we call sequential decision making, because if you make a certain decision time and time again, then you can learn how to do it well. So that's what we call reinforcement learning. That's also how humans learn, right? By trial and error.
Okay, so AI will very soon be capable to do it better than a human who builds it, but that's just doing the same thing but better. When is it really going to disrupt the offshore energy industry?
Yeah, again, I have to just point out that we don't really know. We don't know what AI will be capable of in the future. You can, of course, identify a few areas where you can expect rapid advances, like when there's sequential decision-making, for example, the trading of electricity. It's very hard. You need to estimate electricity prices. You need to estimate your own production. I think AI can do that better than a human. But yeah, cranes building wind farms by themselves, also designing them, I don't know. It seems very futuristic, but yeah, what do we know?
Is the sector aware enough and on top of the game in adopting AI, or are they laggards?
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. So, is there going to be a punishment for those companies resisting AI, resisting innovation? On the one hand, you could say the invisible hand of the market. It will force innovation, or it will destroy the companies that are not going along. On the other hand, suppose you're building a wind farm now. You're not doing it in the smartest way possible. When will you take the hit is only over in 20 years from now. I mean, so there's a huge time delay between, let's say, making a bad decision that AI could have improved a bit and the penalty you're paying for a decision. So in the end, you can also imagine that, let's say, the big companies with big balance sheets, they can take these hits and they'll survive. So I'm not sure if the market will force AI on us, or it's just the biggest players will survive.
How long before the roles are reversed and the wind farms are going to team up against the humans and going to farm humans?
Yeah, well, I would hope that we're not living anymore then. I don't know. I think wind energy, I mean, we should embrace it. It's great. It's going to save our planet, obviously. and that AI can make them even more efficient and even better. That's great news. So I'm not having nightmares of wind turbines attacking me yet. No.
Let's hope your optimistic view is going to be right in the future.
Right.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Remco Verzijlberg. Yeah. Thank you so much, and we're gonna in a few minutes gonna continue. But I think we have time for 1 or 2 questions. If there are some, there's a question here. Can we have? There used to be someone with them. Yeah, that's you. Oh, you're the new microphone person. Yeah. Oh, you have sneakers. Very good. Yeah. Run to this person here.
Hi. Thanks very much for a very interesting talk. I was just wondering regarding...
Who are you?
My name is Anand Ashok. I work at Gusto MSc.
You have to talk a bit closer to the mic.
My name is Anand Ashok. I work at Gusto MSc. In my previous life, I was a fluid dynamics researcher. I was wondering, reduced order models have been used in the fluid dynamics community for quite a while. I'm talking about techniques like proper orthogonal decomposition and so on. These are very cheap models. How would you compare those models with ML or AI models, and what is the cost-benefit between the two?
Yeah, no, I understand the question. I think there's a lot of similarity. So typically how you would use a reduced order model is you would feed it some information from a higher order model or high fidelity model, maybe fit some parameters, and then you have your reduced order model, which is fast, and you can run it as fast as you like, or as many times as you like. And you could imagine a machine learning model working like that. So then it's a little bit the same really as a reduced order model, but you don't really specify, let's say, the structure of the problem like you do in a reduced order model. You just throw in a neural network and let it figure out the structure. But indeed, in the research community, we see a lot of those research directions where they're trying to replace reduced order models with what they call data-informed or physics-informed models. Yeah.
Okay. Seeing maybe one more? No. Apparently no one is that afraid of windmills going to attack us and enslave us. Thank you so much for your optimistic story. Big round of applause for Remco.